So the APT episode, as we were alluding to earlier in the cold open, has been one of the more popular, if not the most popular history episode we did. Because people were quite interested on the fact that it wouldn't have been all magic and roses and pixie dust had APT succeeded. It kind of in the episode we looked at the fact that actually you'd have ended up with an entrenchment of intercity only type passenger services, because they'd have been good services, but in order for them to work better, you close more, just like happened during West Coast Route Mod, you close into more intermediate stations, or you at least
you'd have had to push
it.
services off the West Coast main line.
Yeah.
And APT reminds me of Concorde.
Yeah.
It's the railway's Concorde. And Concorde was supposed to fly you right round the world. You're going to fly to Rio in 5 hours, and you're going to fly to Australia and whatever. And it never happened.
Yeah.
All it ended up was flying celebrities between New York and London. And you wonder whether the APT would only really have affected London-Manchester, and the rest of it would be in a poor state afterwards, because until you had East Coast mainline electrification, you were never going to get economies of scale really from introducing the fleet.
Yeah.
Even if the fleet worked well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which it did not.
So I mean, I was just, some of those thoughts about like the shape of services would have been quite different. You know, we actually, so I often make the case when I'm talking about present policy, the UK, and you might have a view on this, the UK is actually really good at intercity services. We have really good intercity services. They're very frequent compared to a lot of mainline. You're very frequent. We also have really quite good rural services.
Yeah.
Like you look at the level of service frequency in like Koror, it's like there is a fairly frequent rail service there, relatively speaking.
Go to somewhere in middle France.
You would not have that level of service. You have a train a day. Yeah. The thing that the UK is bad at is suburban transport. So the former PTE areas, but generally just suburban rail transit. And in a way, that's a function of our good intercity services, because we've not built new lines. You have to sacrifice the inner city suburban stuff. Yeah. And so, you know, outside of the M25, we don't have a good suburban. You know, the fact that Pacers ended up running high density suburban services in and around Greater Manchester is
but it's
down.
Also a factor that you haven't electrified.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, it's utterly absurd to come out of York to go round to Harrogate, and first thing you're on totalist block working on a single line beyond Poppleton.
Yeah, it's like the ruralist of rural railways immediately. And on a heavy commuter line.
On a heavy commuter line, as far as Harrogate, which is a fringe box for the Rock.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like anyone who's anyone of like current and indeed retired railway people, like there's a British Rail sync like pretty much entirely prop Poppleton up, because it's just like it's like railway metropolis over there. Lots of retirees live in Poppleton on that line. And very popular for commuting into York. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, park and ride, utterly absurd. Which field do you buy to build a park and ride? You buy the one the other side of the road, not the one next to the station. And the one next to the station takes you into town, no matter what the traffic is doing.
Yes.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of planning.
That kind of typifies the planning across certainly England and reality across the UK.
And so if the suburban services have not done well, it's mainly because they haven't been electrified.
Yeah.
And you can see that on the Wirral, where, you know, Chester Hooton was electrified, I can't remember, not really so long ago, and the franchisees at the time were trying to get electrified up to Wrexham, up the Bidston-Wrexham line, and they could not agree it because the prices were something like, they were Dutch franchise at the time, and they said, we're not paying, this is like, forget what it was, 5 times what it would be in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And you think, well, hang on a second, you need to get a grip on this, because if you electrify the railway, the trains are more frequent, less likely to break down, and
massively more reliable, massively cheaper to maintain. Fuel costs evaporate. They're less hard on the track, so your track maintenance per kilometre goes down. Like, just a win-win. Interesting. They've done work for TfW on Wrexham Bidston. Watch that space. And the fact that it's not electrified is a challenge. And batteries aren't the saviour. There's some opportunities, but they are not the saviour. Anything that's high density, well, it's the three F's that I like to say with electrification. If you have fast services, if you have frequent services, or if you have freight services, you need wires. That's the equation is that simple.
The Lancashire and Yorkshire thought of this in 1904. O'Brien electrified.
Absolutely,
Liverpool South, but 1904, Why? Because it's shorter headways, rapid acceleration. That's even before Crosby and things were big suburbs. You know.
We need to do it at some point. There needs to be an exploration of the way the Midland Railway killed electrification in Britain and slowed electrification down quite dramatically. There's some interesting historical shenanigans there with the sacking of it is O'Brien, not O'Brien. It's O'Brien. The sacking of H. O'Brien and his boss when the LMS formed. Interesting shenanigans there.